Hi, warm greetings to all of you. Welcome back to BION, the channel that shares knowledge about holistic self-development through books. There is a book that has been praised as one that touches the hearts of people from ages 9 to 99. This book has been translated into more than 260 languages, published worldwide, and has become the second best-selling work in human history, and that is The Little Prince, a timeless classic. It is not merely a children's book, but also a profound fable filled with meaningful lessons for adults. Today, once again, I want to share about this masterpiece, because every time I reread it, it brings new reflections. The Little Prince is like a journey of our own. Growth, constantly experiencing, constantly reflecting, and looking back on ourselves. It is in those very moments of reflection that we gradually realize what truly matters in life. What to pursue, what to let go of, and what is worth returning to. Without reflection, there can never be true growth. And what about you? At this point in your journey, what is the most important thing to you? The author of The Little Prince once wrote, "One sees clearly only with the heart. What is essential is invisible to the eye." Perhaps these invisible things are the very values that once existed, but that we have gradually forgotten. Today, let us once again revisit this work using our hearts to reflect on the meaningful things that have always been within us. In The Little Prince, the young pilot's first dream was to become an artist. When he was 6, he read about the primeval forests in a book that described how boa constrictors swallowed their prey whole. After eating, they can't move and need 6 months to digest their meal. This idea captured his imagination, and he drew a picture of it. He proudly showed his masterpiece to the adults, asking, "Are you afraid?" But they only saw a hat. "Why should we be afraid of a hat?" they replied, completely missing the point. Deeply disappointed, he tried again, this time drawing the elephant inside the boa's belly to make it clear. The adults, however, advised him to stop wasting time on such nonsense and focus on practical subjects like geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. Who's like that? His dream of becoming a painter was extinguished. Those imaginative, childlike sketches were crushed by the rigid reality of the adult world, a world that values only what is real and practical. The adult's naked eye is trained to see only what is useful, what brings tangible value. Efficiency is the ultimate goal. Curiosity and imagination, if they don't directly lead to better grades. Wealth or social status are often dismissed as worthless. But is that truly the case? An American psychologist discovered a striking difference between children and adults. A 5-year-old child laughs approximately 300 times a day, whereas an adult laughs, on average, only 17 times. It seems the older we get, the heavier life becomes, and the less we find to laugh about. There is a famous line in the book that captures this perfectly. All grown-ups were once children, but only a few of them remember it. Take a moment to think back to your own childhood. How many of your brilliant, imaginative ideas were dismissed as mere fantasies? How many of your passions were labeled as useless hobbies? Under the relentless pressure of reality, we willingly shed our simplicity and innocence, believing that adopting a serious, mature outlook was the necessary ticket into the adult world. We slowly learned to compromise, to follow routines and conventions, transforming ourselves from pure, curious children into calculating, world-weary adults. We often accept this transformation as the inevitable price of growing up. But in truth, childlike wonder and genuine maturity are not mutually exclusive. True maturity isn't about becoming shrewd or accumulating accomplishments. It's about preserving a child's heart while navigating a complex and often cynical world. In a book tentatively titled Breaking Negative Thinking Patterns, Dr. TRC describes this state of maintaining a childlike heart in adulthood as the happy child mode. People who operate in this mode are more open to feeling love and acceptance. They possess greater imagination, find satisfaction in simple things, and can relax and trust others more. You can often recognize these individuals. They are the ones who, even after weathering life's greatest storms, still carry a distinct sparkle in their eyes. Their hearts remain curious and innocent, even after witnessing the coldness and indifference the world can offer. Now, contrast that with the scene on a subway during the evening rush hour. you'll see the weary, hollow gazes of adults, their eyes clouded by a gray haze of exhaustion and stress. Sadly, even children today are losing their natural sparkle, their eyes hidden behind thick glasses, their gazes fixed on screens, and their small shoulders weighed down by heavy school bags filled with endless assignments. If you once believed that achievements, honors, or wealth were the surest guarantees of a good life, if you once thought that excelling in your studies, making a lot of money, and attaining success was the only path to happiness, then perhaps it is time to reconsider. If you find yourself living under the dark cloud of endless pressure and ambition, maybe it's time to allow yourself to step off that relentless train. Gift yourself another ticket, one that takes you back to your purest, most innocent self. It is in that place of genuine wonder that you will rediscover true joy. And in doing so, you might just unlock the door to an entirely different and far more meaningful why of living. The naked eye only sees what we've invested effort into, what must be held onto at all costs. In the timeless story of The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, perhaps the most touching character is the wise and insightful fox. Before meeting the prince, the fox lived a carefree existence, never thinking about loving anyone, nor about being tamed by anyone. He was just a fox among 100,000 other foxes. But when love arrived, the fox's perspective shifted entirely. He told the prince, "For me, right now, you're just a little boy like 100,000 other little boys. I don't need you, and you don't need me. To you, I'm just a fox, like 100,000 other foxes. But if you tame me, then we shall need each other. For me, you will be unique in all the world. For you, I will be unique in all the world." The fox longed for connection, to love and to be loved. For a time, the little prince gave the fox that love, and the two were happy together, sharing moments of joy and understanding. But the bond was tested when the prince discovered a garden full of roses, a sight that made him realize he could never abandon the one single, special rose on his tiny planet. And so, with a heavy heart, he had to say goodbye to the fox. Even though the fox had given so much of himself with all his heart, investing his time and affection into their friendship, he was able to smile gently and let go when the prince decided to leave. He didn't cling or despair. Instead, he chose to keep only the beautiful memory of their time together, symbolized by the golden wheat fields, which would forever remind him of the prince's hair. In our real lives, how many of us possess the wisdom to truly let go at the right moment? The naked eye tends to see only what we've already invested the effort, the sacrifices, the emotions, and the time we can never get back. We focus on the past and what we stand to lose, rather than the future and what we stand to gain by moving on. This is when we fall into the insidious trap of the sunk cost fallacy, a well-known concept in economics that describes our tendency to continue a behavior or endeavor as a result of previously invested resources. These resources, whether time, money, energy, or emotions, are sunk, meaning they have been spent and can no longer be recovered. Out of an irrational fear of losing what we've already put in, we often find ourselves unable to stop. So often, we force ourselves to finish what we've started, to keep pushing forward on a path, even when we know it leads nowhere but exhaustion. We stay in a job that makes us miserable because of the years we've had dedicated to it. We continue a failing project because of the money already spent. We remain in a relationship that no longer brings us joy because of the shared history and emotional investment. We can't see that. Sometimes, letting go is the only way to free ourselves, to cut our losses, and to create space for new opportunities that will allow us to move further ahead. We also fail to understand that true love, in any form, is not about possession or control. Real love is about freedom. It is a mutual choice, a voluntary bond. It isn't about holding on so tightly that the other person cannot breathe or grow. Sometimes, the most profound act of love is letting go at the right time, allowing the other person to be free and to flourish on the path they choose for themselves, even if that path leads away from us. That's why, when you learn to feel with your heart in every choice, when you listen beyond the logical justifications of the mind, a certain wisdom within you will begin to whisper a fundamental truth. Be brave enough to let go of what doesn't belong to your journey. The naked eye only sees the joy of belonging, but the soul feels deeply the silent moments of solitude. In truth, returning to solitude is the very essence of life. On the tiny planet B612, the little prince was the sole king. He owned an entire planet, yet he was utterly alone. His daily tasks were simple: watching the sunrise, cleaning the BION, tending to a small garden of his own, and quietly enjoying the sun as it rose and set. He once said, "There are days when I watch the sunset 44 times. Hearing that number, many hearts ache. How could someone be so lonely?" Today, if you type the word loneliness into a search engine, you will find countless images revealing its many forms. Have you ever eaten a piece of bread while tears silently fell? Sat hunched on a bus, surrounded by people, yet with an empty heart? Have you ever stared at the glowing lights of the city, yet found nowhere that truly felt like home? We all have countless reasons to feel lonely. Yet strangely, our loneliness often looks the same. In Asterisk, the Little Prince Asterisk, every character he encounters is, in fact, a reflection of human nature, our own truth. Humans fear loneliness. The rose could not bear it, so she tried everything to keep the prince's attention. She was afraid of the wind, so he placed her under a glass dome for protection. To the rose, the prince's care was the only cure for her solitude. But if we always try to escape loneliness by filling ourselves with external things, we are not truly at peace. We are merely clinging, desiring, and becoming weaker in the endless chase for comfort. In this dualistic world we've created, we crave beauty and despise ugliness. We long for light, but fear the dark. We chase wealth while rejecting poverty. We seek closeness, yet run away from solitude. But loneliness is an inseparable part of life. As the snake once said, even in the middle of a crowd, people can still feel alone. When the prince met the lamplighter, he could not understand the purpose of his work. Why light a lamp on a planet where no one lived, no one traveled, no one to see it? But the lamplighter did not need others to understand him. He knew his work mattered because it was his principal land. He kept it faithfully. That is the essence of solitude. Loneliness is unavoidable. We may drown ourselves in crowds, wander noisy streets, distract ourselves with pleasures, or chase after attention and validation, but loneliness will always remain, whether we want it or not. Gabriel Garcia Marquez once wrote, in Asterisk 100 Years of Solitude Asterisk, "Wherever you are, remember, the past is but memory with no way back. Spring always passes. Even the fiercest love will fade like smoke. Only solitude is eternal. Loneliness is everywhere. It stays with us, follows us, and shapes us. It is not our enemy. It is part of growth. If you keep fearing being alone, you'll never discover the immense strength that lies within you, because the naked eye only sees happiness when there is company, belonging, and validation, but only the heart can feel the strength that solitude gives." When Antoine de Saint-Exupéry wrote Asterisk, the Little Prince Asterisk, he was living in exile, cut off from his mother, without family, without home. The only comfort he had was this unfinished manuscript, and from that solitude, he created one of the most beloved books in the world. So if loneliness is unavoidable, will you face it with your eyes or with your heart? Let your heart grow quiet. Let it expand slowly, day by day. And one day, when you finally understand the gift of solitude, you will live calmly, no longer bound by past or future. Only when you accept solitude can you live fully with yourself. Each person has a star. The star itself is silent, yet people give it different meanings. So when you are lost, do not rush to judge or decide based only on what the eyes see and the ears hear. As the philosopher Shen once said, "The greatest prison on earth is the mind of man." We are all trapped in our own perceptions. But within this dense, suffocating world, remember returning to your heart is the only way to light your own star. Close your eyes and let your soul return to the purity of the child within you. And when facing life's crossroads, let wisdom guide you to stop at the right time, to move forward at the right pace. Sometimes all it takes is stillness, returning to yourself, embracing solitude, and discovering the unique light of your star within. Let us always remind ourselves on this journey of life, what is most important cannot be seen with the eyes. It can only be felt with the heart. Thank you for listening. If you found this video meaningful, please share it with those who need it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next video. Thank you and see you again in the next one.